Hey everybody.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Sam. How's it going?
Good man. I know we have a bit of a different. We've kind of rotate different formats and styles, but I'm excited to share a quick tip around SEO today. Um, it's going to be a quick one. I know we talk a lot about AI, a lot about running a business. This one, there are, gosh, tens of maybe hundreds of times within a month where I'm doing certain tasks and I think, oh my gosh, like I hope other SEO professionals out there know that this is available to us.
Mm.
Um, now not to get so AI centric again, but I feel like everything has to have some AI flavoring. Um, Whenever you have any problem set, you can find answers to your problems now by prompting correctly, looking or utilizing the right knowledge bases to prompt against. But look, if you're not super AI forward and you like the traditional ways of getting answers to your questions, I hope that this is one use case in thousands and probably millions of different use cases that SEOs face on a daily basis. Um, I came across this challenge where, and I'm sure all my SEOs can relate to this. You want to crawl a website, right? And now with a lot of GDPR, strict rules, you'll always, in most cases, find a cookie consent form. Um, there's a lot of websites that restrict crawling as well. But there are ways around this. I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but sometimes you do need to crawl your website for whatever reason. You want to do a technical audit, you want to find interlinking opportunities, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you need to bypass that cookie consent form. Um, to be able to crawl every corner of your website or maybe sometimes a competitor's website. So just this is a quick reminder. This is probably the shortest episode that we'll ever do on this podcast, but this is a quick tip for you all. If you are facing limitations of crawling a website because there's a cookie consent form that the crawler can't bypass, here's what you need to do. First, go to the actual website. When the cookie consent form pops up, click on the button that usually says allow, the button that you would typically click to bypass the cookie consent form. Right click on that button and then inspect it. Once you inspect it, you'll be shown the Chrome Developer Tool, the backend, the source code, or the rendered HTML. It'll already be highlighted. So just right click that and copy the JavaScript. Head over to your whatever LLM that you want to use, doesn't really matter. Any LLM will do. Paste that JavaScript code in there and prompt it to say that you need um, the specific JavaScript from this code that allows me to bypass the cookie consent form while I use Screaming Frog to crawl the website. So it'll give you the script, copy that script, head over to Screaming Frog, go under configuration, custom, and then you'll see custom JavaScript. Once that window pops up, you're going to drop in that JavaScript code. You're going to change the dropdown that says extraction to action, and then you're done. Click OK, then crawl your website the way that you normally would. That should allow you to bypass that cookie consent form and crawl the website for whatever reason you want to crawl that website for. So I know that was a lot, but you can just rewind this, take it step by step. Of course, you can just ask, your choice LLM nowadays to get all this information. But if you're just
Hmm.
searching for this specific use case and you landed on this podcast episode somehow, I hope that you guys find it helpful. It unlocked a bit of frustration for me, and so hopefully this shaves a little bit of time off from the crawling that you guys are doing. So if you have any other questions related to this or anything within the SEO realm, feel free to reach out to me, sam@keyriseconsulting.com. Is my email, but you can also interact with me and engage with me on LinkedIn. So short and sweet one. Make sure to check out other episodes. We have other SEO tips. We've got a lot of AI material, and Shane and I both run our own small businesses where we share our journeys both professionally and personally. So we hope that you find value in any way possible with the type of content that we're releasing.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that, Sam. And from a completely non SEO perspective, I think that I was able to follow that. And one how I would kind of summarize it is in my layman's term is basically that you're going to go find the code of how the website operates with that action for the cookie consent form, and then you're going to basically like reverse engineer another um, script or a piece of code essentially that you could then put into Screaming Frog in an area where it allows you to not put it into like a passive piece of code, but it's actually an active piece that will get you through that little barrier there and allow the software to do its job then.
That's exactly right. We're really fine tuning the Screaming Frog tool to find that specific code that activates it
Mm.
to not necessarily disable it, but almost act as if I would click on that button so that it
Hmm.
can bypass that cookie consent. And then from that point on, it can crawl through the remainder of the site. So you're exactly right. We're just trying to make Screaming Frog operate the way that an
Hmm.
actual person would when it gets hit with that initial cookie consent form. Because without doing that, your crawl data will all return. I think it's a 403 status code, and
Mm.
you'll basically be left with absolutely no data to comb through in your crawl.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is a great one. I all the tips and tricks. Sam's got them. If anybody's got questions, reach out and maybe to close this one out and a little bit of lead in for some future episodes. Um, any like in the SEO tech stack, any breakthroughs for AI powered tools or even just new software that has come out because of AI that you're like super blown away with that has like really changed the game for you?
It's a great question. I mean, the crazy thing is I'm spinning up tools myself right now, right? Because I'm finding such specific use cases as I'm working with clients. I'm not coming up with theoretical tools that might be good or useful for an SEO. It's stuff that I'm using on a day to day. But here's a tool that I just built. I thought this was interesting. Um, there's a lot of incumbent SEO technologies that are providing data to show your visibility on large language models. Um, if you're an SEO, you've probably heard terms like your visibility score, your mentions, your citations, your
Hmm.
sentiment, your share of citations. Um, Incumbents in this space are now reporting on that, but there's also so many new GEO software and tools coming out to be able to do this as well. I'd say depending on what your budget is, obviously if you're working in corporate and you have access to a tool, that's amazing. If you're a consultant, find one that fits within your budget. Do your due diligence as far as how they're pulling that data so that you at least know how it's being pulled, on what
Hmm.
cadence it's being pulled. Um, not because of how good the data is, but because you just need it right now. It's a messy game. It's a messy representation of your true visibility. It'll get better over time, but the first thing, and I'd encourage everybody to just have access to a tool that you have relative confidence in to be able to report on that. Why that's so? Oh, and then I'll recommend, if you are going to go with a tool, ask about API access.
Mm.
The reason
Yeah,
why
big time.
I would ask for that is because you can now, what I just built, and anyone can build this now if you are somewhat fluent in using Claude Code in a responsible way and you're good with prompting and putting guardrails up. I just spun up a tool where now I'm connecting Google Analytics, Google Search Console, which we all know as a community, an SEO community. But now you can also bring in an AI search tool like PromptWatch or Profound or any other GEO tool that provides API access, and bring those three data sources into one tool. And why this is so cool is because there's a lot of clients asking questions around how we're performing on ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever.
Hmm.
And these questions from clients are getting more specific, right?
Mm.
Demo requests were down in January. Did something happen on Copilot? Like, is our ChatGPT visibility a little down? These are questions that are not necessarily impossible to answer, but it requires a lot of stitching between different data sets and different platforms at times. Um, so I was faced with this challenge of like trying to piece together things, and I decided, why not just bring all the APIs together, create a tool where I can talk to the data and extract at least a first pass at what the explanation could be, right? And then, of course, it provides the actual raw data for me to work through because it's a tool that I spun up in 3 hours. I want to make sure that the actual output matches up to what a human would be able to get to, right? And this is going to take a lot of time, right? I'm fully aware that there's a lot of SEOs out there that are building their own custom tooling. It's our job and our duty and our responsibility to make sure that we're not just relying on the outputs and sending that over to our client. Honestly, all the power to you if you're able to do that. I can't go to sleep at night just even thinking about sending an output like that to my client. It freaks me out. So I'm still going through iterations of sometimes positive or negative hallucination. um, but yeah, I think to answer your question, I haven't gone out to find tools or softwares that address immediate challenges that I'm facing because I realize that anyone can create their own point solution. Um, I think that could change over the course of the next few years where there are real like leading firms that are releasing um, either software or I'm not sure. I'm even thinking about
Agents,
like
agent
agents or even like
pre-built.
repos that we can pick up
Yeah,
and
repo.
customize for
Yeah.
whatever we need.
Mm-hmm.
But for the time being, it's fun as hell to come up with your own thing. B, it doesn't take that much time. And three, it's something that you can continually manipulate and make better and better. So, yeah, I would say it's so funny how AI keeps coming back to our conversations, but get AI fluent. Shane does a lot of educational material on our podcast as well, so check those out. But yeah, I think being somewhat AI fluent allows me to not have to go and buy new software, aside from software that helps report on your visibility on large language models, which by the way, you can also create something for, but that's a whole other deal in terms of tokenization and the cost around that. Um, but yeah, I've been primarily building point solutions to kind of get around some of the usual day-to-day requests and tasks that take up a lot of mental calories.
Awesome. No, those are great shares, and I'm going to drop two nuggets in here for those Claude Code folks out there. Some two really big tips that have helped me tremendously is if you're building like a software tool from kind of the ground up, there is a free open source repo out there called GSD, Get Shit Done, and the person's username is Glitter Cowboy. And so if you just put that into Google, you'll find it. And it's the one, and you'll see it's pretty highly rated, lots of stars. Um, and just find the URL for that GitHub repo, give it to Claude Code and say, go, take this and then install it essentially. And that is a framework and a whole system of multi-agent orchestration for really methodical software development. And so you just hit start. It has backslash commands built in, backslash GSD, and then whatever the initiator is to get started. I can't even remember right now off the top of my head, but you backslash that, get started, and then it will run you through the process. So you give it all the information. It builds it in a methodical way, and also doesn't use a ton of context and a ton of tokens. And then the next part is at the end, there's something called the Microsoft Playwright CLI. So if you go to get, or just type in Google and go Playwright, so it's Play WRIGHT, and then you want the CLI version of that, go get that, have Claude Code downloaded and install that. And then when you're done, when GSD is done, it's like, I built your tool. Before you even go to like test it or test drive it on the dev server, backslash playwright UI tester, it's called, and run that thing through, and it will debug the entire UI and experience for you. And that has changed the game for the output of what I get on my first pass from a software tool perspective. So,
Oh, that's so good. I'm going to try that out.
yeah, GSD by Glitter Cowboy. That's all you need to know. Go find it on GitHub. And the other one is Microsoft Playwright CLI, and it's Playwright with a W in there. And you run GSD start to finish. And then when you're done, do the Playwright CLI UI tester / command and let that run, and or the skill, and then let that run. And it is, yeah, it's been transformational for the stuff that we've been building.
Cool, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in again, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.